Hey everybody, my name is Pablo, and for this assignment, I chose to talk about Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford commencement speech. Um, I do very deeply respect his innovation and leadership at Apple, but in this speech, I do strongly disagree with a core message from this speech, which was to do what you love in order to succeed. Um, I chose Jobs for this idea because even though him and his speech are inspiring to many, it can also be really misleading, especially for people from different socioeconomic backgrounds or those facing systemic barriers. Um, so, when I was listening to Jobs' speech, I made a really conscious effort to listen with an open mind, just to suspend initial judgment and to evaluate his message very fairly. Um, and what I gained was that his speech was very moving. There's no doubt about it. Especially when he talks about like connecting the dots of life and finding purpose in setbacks. But when I was further analyzing the ethical implications of telling a large and diverse audience that the key to life is just simply doing what you love, um, I think that this message could work for someone who's like very privileged. They have the safety nets for it. They have the resources for it, and they're not working out of necessity. They're doing it just for passion. Um, I saw how this rhetoric could be empowering um, for some, but especially like dismiss or invalidate others' struggles unintentionally. And I think listening in this way made me more reflective of how I usually respond to messages like these. Um, Especially because I might have, rolled my eyes at the oversimplification, but I focused on why the message resonates and who it leaves out, which is not something I typically do. I realized that Jobs wasn't being malicious. He was just trying to share his truth, and it didn't really change my stance though. It just made me more aware of how inspiration can be grounded in inclusivity, um, but it can also just, you know, dismiss others. Um, I do feel ethically obligated to respond to this kind of message, not to tear it down, but to offer just a counterpoint to it. Um, we've learned about the power and ethics of rhetoric, and I believe messages, especially from um, people from influence, they should be really careful with who they empower and who they silence unintentionally. Um, because even though telling everybody to follow their passion is really beautiful, um, I don't think they also thought or talked about equity, access, structural limits. We're just promoting a narrative for for a small group. Like it's only realistic for that small group. For that small group. Um, but yeah, doing this assignment really helped me approach a powerful speech with both admiration and critical awareness. Um, I can see now how a lot of speeches can be inspiring, um, but they still need ethical examination and how like deeply it it goes to the audience. Um, and it also helps me grow just not as a communicator but also just as a listener. And yeah, thank you for watching.